is get paid to clean up your credit reports. Insider information. The objective of this presentation is not to promise or give the idea we will get you a pile of money, but for you to take action towards improving your personal credit and eliminate debt. Now, money from violations may be a consolation prize. We're here to educate you that you may be unaware of violations affecting you. Our disclaimer. Legal information is not the same as legal advice. ProDebt Solutions never provides legal advice, and ProDebt Solutions is not the legal representative for our clients, nor are we practicing attorneys. What you will hear is entertaining and educational in nature and is for information purposes only. This information is provided to help users safely cope with their own legal needs. Content, forms, and templates from us does not constitute legal advice, and no attorney-client relationship is created. Consult an attorney before using content or commencing in any legal action. This information is to be used at your own risk. We're not bar licensed attorneys who are officers of the court. We never give legal advice. Now that we've got the disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the why and your goals. Napoleon Bonaparte said, "Victory belongs to the most persevering." What's your reason why? Could be to buy a house, a car, get credit cards, job promotion, could be all of the above. Reasons to establish good credit could be obtaining competitive interest rates on your car, life, health, and homeowners insurance, to rent or lease a house, apartment, or an office. Investing, you might want to invest in the stock market, foreign exchange or Forex, real estate. You may want to start a new business and you need some capital. You may have an existing business and you just need to expand it. Or simply put, you might just want to have peace of mind. Maintaining good credit is an important part of a healthy financial life. It allows you to qualify for new credit accounts at the lowest interest rate possible. It's not about the amount that you pay. It's all about the interest rate. Now, the effects of bad credit could be the physiological impact of having bad credit, which physiological deals with the body systems, okay? And there is an intersection between finance and health. And so if you're under stress and denial, depression, low self-esteem, you're feeling powerless or feeling overwhelmed, yes, those things can affect your health. And the financial impact of having less than perfect credit can be detrimental as well. Now, as you can see in this picture, this is a fairly young couple. Now, the husband, he really doesn't look too happy. I mean, there's some things going on with their finances. There are 3 consumer laws in place for consumers. Okay, the first one is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Then there's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and then the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Now, these are like the 3 main ones that we cover. Now, today we're going to go into the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and on a future webinar, we're going to cover the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, which those are powerful acts, consumer laws. Now, as far as the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it's a federal law that regulates the collection, dissemination, and use of consumer information, particularly credit information. Now, the credit reporting agencies, which are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, are subject to this law, as well as the furnishers of information, your creditors, collection agencies, and providers of public information. Now, public information providers could be companies like LexisNexis. Those are the ones that will see that your bankruptcies, foreclosures, repos, tax liens, judgments, things like that are on your credit report. Credit in the new economy. Now, these are facts. About 80% of all credit reports have errors on them, causing lower credit scores. 25% of which are serious enough to potentially result in a credit denial. And nearly 25% of the population has a 599 credit score or below. Now, this keeps 36.5%. That's a little over a third of the nation's prospective home buyers from being able to qualify for a new home. That's pretty serious. Now, the credit dispute process using the FCRA, a consumer invokes the law by disputing inaccurate information on their credit report. This may be done directly to the credit reporting agencies. We call this a dispute. When the CRAs receives a dispute, it must notify the furnishers of the information of the dispute, which requires it to reinvestigate the item. This must be done within 30 days. If either party in a dispute process fails to follow the procedure, fails to correct incorrect information, or fails to mark the item in dispute, then the consumer may sue them. We have a results-oriented credit dispute system in place with over a 12-year proven track record. You can call Charles or the agent that invited you to this presentation for a full overview or to enroll. And we have a quick video that you can watch if you go over to united-credit.org. That'll give you a little bit more information on how a credit restoration process goes. Let's cover a few misconceptions. The first one is it illegal or immoral to have the information on your credit report corrected or removed? Not only is it not illegal or immoral, but it's what the Fair Credit Reporting Act is all about. Credit reporting agencies are required by law to keep derogative items on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. I want to read that one again. Credit reporting agencies are required by law to keep derogative items on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. There is no law that requires a credit reporting agency to report anything at all, let alone to keep data on your report for a certain time frame. Paying a past due debt removes it from your credit report. Just because you paid an old debt does not change or erase the fact that at one time you were not paying it as agreed. Can this record be changed? Absolutely. That's what the credit restoration process is for. If I pay my bills on time, I will have excellent credit. Although paying your bills on time is a part of maintaining and possibly increasing your credit score, it is only one of 5 factors that determine your credit score. If you're carrying high balances on a credit card, you've got a $1,000 credit card, you're making the payments on time or before time, but you are carrying like a $900 balance, okay, you're not benefiting at all from having the account or even paying it on time. Credit restoration companies cannot fix or restore my credit. That's the furthest from the truth. Creditors prefer doing business with credit-challenged consumers because they can make a lot of money on them and they can control the scenario. We want to empower you guys to be in control of your scenario. Let's look at some of the violations of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and remedies. The law allows for statutory damages of up to $1,000 per violation. For FCRA, there is a 2-year statute of limitations from date of discovery of 5 years total. So if 18 months ago you discovered a violation that occurred 4 years ago, you can sue that party. Now, one of the most, I guess, unnoticed violations is inquiries, unauthorized inquiries, or we call them impermissible credit pulls. Now, I want you guys to take note, and I should have stated a little earlier to grab a piece of paper and a pen so you can take some notes, but I definitely want you to write this one down. I want you to write down 15 U.S. Code or USC 1681N as in Nancy. The heading is going to be civil liability for willful noncompliance. Basically what that means is that any person who willfully fails to comply with any requirement imposed under this subchapter with respect to any consumer is liable to that consumer in an amount equal to the sum of 1/8 any actual damages sustained by the consumer as a result of the failure or damages of not less than $100 and not more than $1,000, or B, in the case of a liability of a natural person for obtaining a consumer report under false pretenses or knowingly without a permissible purpose, actual damages sustained by the consumer as a result of the failure, or $1,000 whichever is greater. Okay, I'll let you guys finish reading the rest of that, but basically what this is saying is that if anybody pulls your credit without your permission, they're liable to you for $1,000 or up to $1,000. Now, one of the examples that I want to bring on and share with you is something about a debt collector. We'll get to that in just 1 second. Now, let's cover the permissible purposes for someone pulling your credit. Okay, so only 4 of them. If someone is extending employment to you, utilities, insurance, or credit. Those are the only 4 reasons, okay, with your permission, that they can pull your credit. Outside of that, we call it an impermissible credit pull, and it carries that $1,000 violation. Now, there are 2 types of inquiries. They're hard and they're soft. Now, the hard inquiries is when you apply for credit somewhere. You're trying to buy a car. Those are hard inquiries. Now, I don't know exactly how many points that an inquiry will get you for. I've heard, as long as I've been in this business, I've heard different numbers. But, we can safely say probably somewhere between maybe 2 and about 8, maybe 10 points, okay, per inquiry. So you want to be careful when you go in someplace and you're allowing them to pull your credit. I mean, it's more or less you got to know that for sure that this is a place that you're going to get approved on. If not, you need to kind of do your homework and get pre-approved before you actually go there, like if you're buying a car. Now, one law that went in place back around 2003, 2004 stated that, let's say if you were going to buy a car and you had your credit pulled 10 times in a 30-day period, that would only count as 1 credit pull. Outside of that 30-day period, then it would count as more than 1 credit pull. Okay. Now, like I said, there's a hard and there's a soft inquiry section. Now, soft inquiry section could be like if you employment. They'll take a peek at your credit, so that would show up in the soft inquiry section. Sometimes when you get solicitations from creditors, that's a soft. They've done a soft inquiry pull on you. Now, that's not supposed to affect you. I don't know for sure if it takes any points away from you, but the purpose is that. The point is that it's considered as an impermissible credit pull because you didn't give them permission to pull it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this example. Now, this is a snippet that I just pulled from a credit report. And what it says is that there's a company called Pinnacle Financial. Now, looking at the credit report, it states that they are a collection agency. Now, this individual, probably about January, I happened to get this report from them. And so that's when their 2-year clock started, as far as by the law, for them to be able to take an action against this particular company. So you can see that the pull was done on August 11th of 2014. Now notice they didn't find out about this until I want to say this report was looked at and pulled in January of 2016. So from January 2016, they have 2 years if they want to take an action against this particular entity for pulling their credit. Now let's take a look at compliance. And I want to switch screens for just a second. Okay, here we go. All right, I pulled up this list. This is a list that we've been having for a long time of violations. I only want to take a look at a few of them, okay? Because everything that we do here, we want to be able to back it up with proof. So here's for you to take some more notes. The first one highlighted, it says that if a creditor pulls your credit file without permissible purpose, okay, the cause would be to injure your credit report and your credit score. Now, under 15 USC 1681B, and actually that should be N, there's a $1,000 violation that comes with that. Now, let's take a look at another one. Creditors are collection agencies and credit bureaus, or the credit reporting agencies. If they try and re-age an account, and a lot of times collection agencies will do this. When they report an account, there's a date, okay? Technically, that's called re-aging, okay? Because that is not a new account that they have, okay? They didn't extend any credit to you. So that's a $1,000 violation. Now, to collect a lot of these violations, we have to go in and dispute items on the credit report, and that's where it's important for you guys to get enrolled into our credit correction program. Now, the credit bureaus themselves, if they reinsert an item that they removed from your credit report without notifying you in writing within 5 business days, okay, they're liable for the $1,000 violation. Also, before any negative information goes on your credit report, they're supposed to notify you within 30 days. Okay, that one there just doesn't happen. I've never seen it. Okay, so and what it is, it's $1,000 per credit agency, and sometimes it can be per month. Okay, so there's a lot of moving parts there, but I mean it's something that you guys can benefit for. So give me a second. I want to switch back to the PowerPoint. So as you can see, with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, everybody is susceptible to violations. I'm going to share with you on how you can order your credit reports. There are 2 sources that I recommend that you get your credit reports from. First thing I need you to understand is that when a consumer, which would be you, pulls your credit report, from a source like a credit monitoring source, your Credit Karmas, your credit check totals and annuals and stuff like that, that does not count against you as an inquiry. It only counts against you when you're applying for credit somewhere, employment, utilities, something of that nature. So if you're curious to find out if there are any potential inquiry violations, because the only way that you're going to see the hard and soft inquiries on a credit report is if you go and order reports from annualcreditreport.com. That is like the most detailed consumer report that you're going to find out there. It's a freebie, and what it is, it's a website that's been jointly operated by the 3 major credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And this site is created in order to comply with obligations underneath the 2003 Fair and Accurate Credit Reporting, Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act. Okay, to provide a mechanism for American consumers to receive up to 3 free credit reports per year. So in other words, this allowed us to be able to get credit reports, because for some reason prior to this, consumers were having some issues being able to get credit reports. And I know you've probably dealt with some loan officers or some banks, and you asked them, hey, can I get a copy of my credit report? And they told you that they just couldn't give it to you. This is just to help combat all of that. So now you have a right once a year to be able to go and pull your credit report. And then just give you a little hint, being here in Georgia, we're one of maybe only maybe 2 states that I can think of, okay, that you can get 2 free credit reports. Now, the Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act, that's something that's done on a federal level. So the state of Georgia decided that, hey, we want our consumers to be able to get a credit report, so you're entitled to get 2 free credit reports a year if you reside in Georgia. Now, to get these reports is free. I strongly encourage you, do not waste your money buying credit scores from Annual Credit Report. Just get the free report, get on and off the website. Now, when you go to annualcreditreport.com, when you check off all 3 of the credit reporting agencies as they come up, one of those credit reporting agencies, you're either going to have to print them out, or you're going to have PDF capabilities on your computer in order to save the report. I want to repeat that again, because I don't want somebody to go there, take a look at it, and click off and think that they're going to be able to come back and retrieve those reports. Once you click off that page, okay, that's it. Goodbye. You won't be able to see those reports again. So if you, and I'm thinking that it's Experian, okay, so but don't hold me to that. But one of those agencies does not have a way on there for you to save it as a PDF. Okay, so in your browser usually have a printer extension that says save as PDF. Definitely you want to test that before you actually go here and make sure it works. But you need to save all 3 of those reports as a PDF, especially if you want me to review them. I don't do printed copies of it, so it has to be a PDF that you can email to me, if you would like us to review it. Go to the website, download, order all 3 and save them as a PDF. And then, like I said, you can get them to us, and we'll definitely do a review on it. Now, the second source that we use is a company called Credit Check Total. It's a credit monitoring service, and what they offer is a $1 7-day trial. And then after that, they're gonna, if you don't cancel it or call and ask for the special, they're gonna end up charging you $29.95 until you just stop it. Okay, so I would say within those 7 days, definitely you would have made a decision because you've gotten that. The day that you sign up, I would strongly encourage you to go ahead and get the username, the password, and the last four of your social to us so that we can go in and take a look at the credit report. We'll get back with you, and usually within a business day or less, to as far as our review of it. Okay, and so at that point in time, you can decide whether it's something that you want to cancel or something that you want to keep. If you want to keep it, you definitely want to call and ask for that special. Now, if you become a client of ours, we definitely encourage you to keep the monitoring service, especially while you are in our program. Okay, now as far as the one of the things I like about this service here is that they offer you FICO 8 credit scores. In other words, you're going to get a chance to see a FICO score. You go to any of these other services, Credit Karma, creditreport.com, Privacy Guard, those companies are only going to offer you a made-up score, and those scores are usually about 40 to 60 points higher than a FICO score. So you step into the bank, you tell the bank that you're 660, you think you're going to get a house, and then when they pull your credit and they look at your FICO scores, you're actually like a 610. That's not going to help you out, because to buy a house you need at least a 640. So you don't want to be deceived. Go here, you can get access to your credit reports. Now we're going to go ahead and open up for Q&A, and we go ahead and close this part out, and then we'll be back with you in just a second. We'll open up for Q&A, and what I'd like for you to do, you'll see it as a chat box. Type in whatever questions that you have. I'll read them, or one of our moderators will read it, and then we'll answer your question. Okay, so at this time, locate that chat box. Go ahead and start typing your questions in. We'll definitely open it up for Q&A, and you're going to see another box is going to pop up, which will be somewhat of a link that will take you directly to the annual credit report website where you can order your credit reports. But if not, you can just type in the URL and it'll take you there.